All right, let's jump right in. I want you to think about planting a tree. You spend all this time finding the perfect spot. You're thinking about the sunlight, the soil, how much room it's going to need to grow. Why? Because once that tree is in the ground, that's it. It's there for good. You can't just pick it up and move it. Well, real estate is exactly the same, just with millions of dollars at stake. The property itself is unmovable. That means the spot you pick, that first decision, it literally determines everything that comes next.
And this quote, it just nails the core idea perfectly. In commercial real estate, the single most important value-creating decision you will ever make happens right at the very beginning. It's not about a fancy renovation 5 years from now or some slick marketing campaign. Nope, your success or your failure is basically baked into the deal the moment you sign on the dotted line. And it all boils down to one simple thing, where that property is on a map.
So this brings us to the ultimate trade-off that every single investor has to think about. What's the better bet? A brand new, top-of-the-line building in a kind of location? Or a decent, maybe even a little outdated building, but in an absolutely killer location? Well, when you look at the long-term data, it's not even a contest. The superior location almost always wins. Why? Because you can always fix a building, but you can never, ever fix the neighborhood it's in.
Now, we've all heard the old saying a million times, right? Location, location, location. It's become a bit of a cliche, but it's a cliche for a very, very good reason. So what does it actually mean? Let's unpack why that simple phrase has so much power and how a property's address ends up influencing every single dollar it ever makes.
A great location acts like this incredibly powerful magnet. It just pulls in the best tenants, the ones who are willing to pay top dollar. That drives up your rental rates. It keeps your building full even when the market gets a little shaky. It is, without a doubt, the #1 driver of long-term appreciation. And then, when it's finally time to sell, a prime spot guarantees you'll have a long line of buyers fighting over it. At its core, location is your best defense against risk.
What's really wild is just how huge the financial impact is. I mean, we are not talking about a few extra percentage points here. A prime location can bring in rents that are 50%, 100%, or sometimes even more than an identical building just a couple of miles down the road. Think about two coffee shops that are exactly the same. One is on a quiet side street, and the other is on the busiest corner in the city. The massive difference in their success, that is the real, tangible value of being in the right place.
Okay, so here's the thing. A good location isn't some universal concept. It's not one size fits all. What makes a fantastic spot for a giant warehouse is a total disaster for a high-end retail shop. So this is where we have to get specific and understand the different location playbooks for each property type.
For an office building, it's all about one thing: talent. Can your employees get there easily? Is it near public transit and major highways? And just as important, once they're there, is it a place they actually want to be? Are there coffee shops, restaurants, gyms? Because at the end of the day, companies follow the talent, and talented people are drawn to places that are vibrant and easy to get to.
With retail, the game is a lot simpler. It's about customers, eyeballs, and wallets. How many cars drive by every day? How visible is the storefront? And are the people in the neighborhood the right demographic, with money to spend? Plus, who are your neighbors? Being next to a super successful Target or Whole Foods can be a massive game changer. For retail, it really is all about visibility and access to shoppers.
Okay, now for industrial properties, warehouses, and logistics centers. For this, I want you to picture the journey of an Amazon package. Value here is all about the smooth, efficient movement of goods. That means you need to be right next to major highways, ports, and rail lines. And in today's world of e-commerce, being close to big population centers for that last-mile delivery, that's become absolutely essential.
And finally, we have multifamily, apartments. This is where people actually live their lives, so the factors here are deeply personal. Is it close to good jobs? Are the schools any good? Is the neighborhood safe? Can you walk to a park or a great restaurant? With apartments, you're not just renting out square footage, you're selling a lifestyle.
The smartest investors look at location through two different lenses, and you absolutely have to get both of them right. Getting just one wrong can completely sink your investment. It's this process of zooming way out to see the big picture and then zooming all the way in to inspect the tiniest details of a specific street corner.
So the macro analysis, that's about picking the right city or the right region. Is the population growing here? Are companies moving in and creating jobs? Then, once you've picked your market, you switch to that micro lens. Is this specific property easy to see from the street? Is it easy to get in and out of? What are the zoning laws?
You could pick the hottest city in the country, but if you buy on the wrong corner in that city, you're still going to have a bad time.
But a great location isn't just about playing offense, finding a great opportunity. It's also about playing defense. The best investors use location to build a competitive moat around their properties, protecting them from anybody who might want to compete in the future.
In that moat, it's built with something called barriers to entry. These are basically just things that make it really hard, or even impossible, for a developer to come in and build a competing project right next to you. Think about a city like San Francisco, where there's very little land to build on, or a town with super strict zoning laws. Those barriers protect you from a flood of new supply, and that's what allows your rents and your property's value to keep going up.
And those barriers to entry tie directly into risk. Investing in a major city like New York or London, a market with really high barriers to entry, that's lower risk. It's like buying a blue chip stock. It's stable, but the returns are probably going to be modest. On the flip side, investing in a smaller, up-and-coming market with fewer barriers, that's higher risk, but it also gives you the potential for much, much higher returns. Your choice of location is really your choice of where you want to be on that risk spectrum.
So all of this, it's all leading to the single most powerful concept in real estate. It's what's known as the irreplaceable advantage. This is really the final piece of the puzzle, the one that explains why location truly is everything.
Just let that sink in for a second. You could hire the world's best architect, the world's best construction crew, and you could build an exact replica of any building on Earth. But you can never, ever create a copy of the piece of land it sits on. The corner of 5th Avenue and 57th Street in Manhattan, it's one of a kind. It cannot be duplicated.
And look, this isn't just some philosophical idea. It's a cold, hard financial reality. In the best locations in the world, the value isn't in the steel and glass. It's in the dirt. The land itself is often worth far more than it would cost to build the shiny skyscraper sitting on top of it. You're not just buying a building, you are buying a piece of irreplaceable earth.
But here's the really important twist. While a physical location is fixed, its value is not. The definition of a good location is constantly changing. The rise of e-commerce completely changed the game for retail. The shift to remote work is forcing everyone to rethink what makes a great office location, and more things like future climate risk are becoming a huge part of the analysis. You have to stay ahead of these trends.
So as we wrap this up, I want you to remember this number. 1. Location is the one and only major variable in a real estate deal that is totally permanent. It's the one decision you are stuck with, for better or for worse, the second that deal closes.
So the bottom line is this. Your location chooses your tenants for you. Your location sets the ceiling on how much rent you can charge. And your location is what ultimately determines how much your property is worth when it's time to sell. Everything else you do, from property management to renovations to leasing, it's all just an effort to squeeze every last drop of value out of that one, single, unchangeable decision you made at the very beginning.
And that leaves us with one final big question to chew on. We know buildings get old. We know trends come and go. But location? Location is permanent. So in a world that is changing faster than ever before, what are the fundamental things that make a location valuable not just today, but for generations to come? What makes a location truly timeless?